Well, hello, everybody. I figured I'd come out here for a few reasons tonight and do a short educational video. The first thing I got to say is this is a basic education, not an expanded basic education. The symbol that I am using as my avatar, which is known as the Sky One symbol, does not mean that you are a storm chaser or a storm spotter. It means that you have the basic education that Sky One storm chasers and spotters are given. This symbol does not protect you in no way, shape, or form from local law enforcement. It does not give you special rights. It does not give you the right to speed around, so on and so forth. The reason why I am putting that out there right off the bat is we've had several storm spotters and chasers that happen to only have Sky One training go out here in Oklahoma and end up under arrest, ticketed, you name it. All because they thought that the Sky One symbol protected them and gave them special power. It doesn't. In no way, shape, or form does that symbol protect you. It does not in any way, shape, or form protect you. It does not in any way, shape, or form give you special authority or special power. It takes more than a Sky One education and a Sky One certificate to get out and do what spotters and chasers do on a regular basis. And the biggest reason why the Sky One certificate and symbol no longer protects the chasers and spotters by itself is because of many people going out and getting their Sky One certificate and chasing by any means necessary, including but not limited to speeding, running stop signs and stoplights, so on and so forth, because they believed that it gave them that authority. It never has, it never will. And because of that fact, it has made the Sky One symbol a watered down symbol. And by that, what I mean is the majority of actual storm spotters and chasers out there does not respect the Sky One symbol anymore. There are nationally certified and state certified and internationally certified storm chasers that I have spoken with on multiple occasions that have said that they've looked at me and said that Sky One symbol don't mean nothing to them. If you don't know that, when includes these clouds, if you don't know what the difference between an anvil and a shelf is, or a cumulus and a wall cloud is, then you're not a storm spotter, you're not a storm chaser, you're just a wannabe. I've went out and I've trained with some of the best storm spotters and chasers at one point in time or another over the last several years. I have been storm spotting and chasing since 2001. I have been training as a storm spotter and a chaser since 2001. So no, I did not start before I started chasing by myself until I started chasing with other educated folks. And here's the thing. A lot of people go out here with, they just become a Sky One chaser or they just claim to be a chaser and they go chasing storms and they end up either getting hurt, injured, or killed. And it makes it even worse on the storm spotters and chasers because it gets us a bad name. There are very highly educated, highly respected storm spotters and chasers for the National Weather Service and for multiple weather channels, including the Weather Channel itself, that have gotten injured and killed chasing storms, whether it be because of wannabe chasers ending up wrecking into them because they think they have special powers, mentioned earlier. But they've also gotten killed by sheer accident. And if these individuals who have 30 plus years of education behind them can get hurt and killed in the line of chasing, that should warn people not to do it if they don't know what they're doing. But it does not seem like that has been the case. Last year, Oklahoma Highway Patrol and multiple other police agencies and sheriff agencies pulled over 100 plus storm spotters and chasers, and some of them were ticketed, some of them were arrested, not only for breaking moving violation laws by speeding and stuff like that, but also for impeding first response crews. A storm spotter and a storm chaser, whether you are one or the other or both, you are not a first responder unless you have certain certifications through certain agencies, not Skywarn. You are not classified as a first responder. You are classified as a second, third, or fourth responder, depending on the amount of training you have. For example, I have training through FEMA, I have training through the National Guard, I have training through multiple other agencies, including the American Red Cross when it comes to intro to disaster services and health care. But that does not make me special. That does not make me a first responder. That still only has me set as a second responder, to be honest. First responders are the only ones that are allowed to speed, run red lights for a stop sign, so on and so forth. And because of that fact, you've got to understand, before you go out there and chase, that you have limitations. You cannot speed. You cannot run stop signs. You cannot run stoplights. You cannot run yield signs, so on and so forth. But there's other limitations you have. Like, for example, depending on the amount of training you have received, you may have a basic intro to storm chasing, like through Skywarn and National Weather Service. But you could have a advanced amount of training through FEMA, the military, so, or even working for news stations. It all depends on what training you have. Skywarn training and National Weather Service training is closer to being spotter training than it is chaser training. They do not take you out and physically educate you on how to chase a storm, how close is too close, so on and so forth. Like, for example, I have actually seen storm chasers, well, wannabe storm chasers, think that driving down a dirt road or a shell road or even a washboard road was going to be just as easy as driving down a concrete or blacktop road. It isn't. If you do not have the ability to drive down those roads under normal conditions, you will have issues driving down them under extreme conditions. I'm not saying that you don't need to become a storm spotter or you don't need to become a storm chaser. I am saying get every bit of education you can, and before you go doing it by yourself, get with people who have been doing it for years. There are storm spotters and chasers out there that will show you everything that they know, maybe even things that they've learned since they started doing it themselves. And they won't charge you anything usually. If a storm spotter or chaser says that they're going to charge you to learn their trade, there's one or two problems with that. Either one, you probably should find a different person because spotting and chasing is already expensive enough. It doesn't need to be made more expensive by being charged for the training, especially if you're the one already putting the bill for the fuel and the wear and tear on your own personal vehicle to do the spotting and chasing training. Now, I can understand if they are putting the whole bill, then want to charge you something. But always remember, just because they've been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years does not make them an expert. It makes them a veteran of the field, but it does not make them an expert. If you want expert training, then you will need to find a storm spotter / chaser who not only has spotter and chaser education behind them, but also has meteorologist training behind them. In other words, a degree that allows them to give educated guesstimates as to when and how and what types of storms are going to hit. And even those individuals are not going to be what you would classify as experts because the weather changes every day and is completely unpredictable in some cases. There's no such thing as an expert. There is only such thing as knowledgeable veterans, undereducated veterans, and then there's those who get into the field for one reason and one reason only, and that is the high they get off of and putting themselves in danger. Then there's those that go in to make as much fucking money as they possibly can from getting pictures and video of storms. When you talk to a storm spotter or chaser, that's all they do is storm spotting and chasing, make sure you're careful on who you are getting your information from. I am a storm spotter and a storm chaser, but I am also an emergency response technician. I run an emergency response team. I do not just spot and chase storms. I will also help with cleanup if necessary, and if I am eligible to do so, based on my current work schedule, so on and so forth. I will also respond after wildfires, house fires, so on and so forth. Does that make me an expert? No. I'm not saying that I am the smartest person out there and that I am the person to listen to on everything storm spotting and chasing. Yeah, I am not. I am saying, please stop making it so hard for spotters and chasers that are doing it for a good cause, like, for example, contacting emergency management ahead of storms to let them know the storm's heading their way, as well as contacting National Weather Service and other news agencies to let them know where the storm is, what they're seeing, and what is coming out of the storm. Exactly. It makes it harder on the professional storm spotters and chasers and emergency technicians, response technicians, when people go out there and they make us look bad by doing things that is not smart, doing things that prove beyond a shadow of doubt that they were not properly educated. Yes, National Weather Service and amateur radio organizations have went together and created Skywarn. It teaches you the basics on how to be a storm spotter and chaser. It does not teach you how to be a perfect professional expert storm chaser and spotter. It gives you the basics. To get the additional training, you must do on-the-job training. It is the only safe way to do it. Literally, there is no other way to do it and it be safe. There is no such thing. If you happen to have ever watched Weather Channel Storm Spotters and Chasers, or even your local news stations, like here in Oklahoma, we got news channels 459, 25, 31, 43. If you ever watch them chasing storms, you will notice that they stop at all stop signs and all stoplights. Even they do not have special authorities to run red lights and stop signs. So why do you believe that getting a Skywarn sticker to put, or magnet to put on your vehicle in any way gives you special privileges? It don't. When you go out and you put yourself in danger, storm spotting and storm chasing, it doesn't matter whether you are a professional or not, you are also putting everyone else on the road in that area in danger. For example, if you choose to think that you have special permission and you run a red light or a stop sign, you could end up running into a first responder or even a regular general population citizen. And that first responder, if it happens to be a first responder, could be going to save a family member of yours' life. But you just cost your family member their life because you think that you have special privileges like that when you don't. Another way that you put yourself and other people in danger is your vehicle can become a projectile. A tornado could pick your vehicle up and throw it over a state away if it's a big enough tornado. Now, mind you, this majority of people do not end up hitting big enough tornadoes to end up having their vehicle thrown a state away, but it could still be thrown into somebody's home. There has been pieces of debris that has been turned into projectiles and thrown into cities and counties that were 150 to 100 miles away from the storm itself that originated the projectile. But to the majority of people, they don't care whether they're putting other people in danger. There is a small minority of storm spotters and chasers that are out there that are actually doing it for a good reason, for a good purpose. Those storm spotters and chasers will go above and beyond to get a correct list of emergency managers, weather station numbers, so on and so forth, email addresses, phone numbers, Zello contact information, so on and so forth, to be able to contact people ahead of the storm and inform them in a professional tone that there is a storm heading their way and that you have seen this, and this. For example, you might have seen a low ring with some hail, but here's the thing. If you put out a tornado warning or a tornado watch and you cannot be verified, and by that what I mean is if they cannot see it on radar or they get called by an emergency manager in that area and told no, that person is lying, guess what? They will not want to take your word for it ever again. The National Weather Service out of Norman has recently informed a storm spotter / chaser here in the Oklahoma area that lives here and spots and chases here that they will only accept reports from their emergency manager, and that being because of the fact that the emergency manager said that what that person has seen did not happen. Now, mind you this, even though the emergency manager said that did not happen, that like a day or two later, it was found that yes, a small storm did arise that caused the damage in the area, but that did not help the storm spotter / chaser out because it turned out that it was not a tornado. All it was straight line winds. And it pains me to say that because these people, we put our safety at risk to inform people. I personally have on many occasions informed a person who wanted to be a storm spotter or chaser that just because they want to be one don't mean they are one. I have had friends that are no longer friends of mine because I told them that they would not make good storm spotters and chasers. For example, a friend of mine, an ex-friend of mine, likes to contact me via Zello, Facebook, phone calls, so on and so forth, every time storms is in the area and says, well, we're supposed to have bad weather. I've got my candles ready, and just in case the power goes out, I got this ready, that ready, the other ready. I go, okay, so you are ready if the power goes out, but are you ready if a tornado hits? And he cannot honestly answer that question, yes. The reason why he cannot answer that question, yes, honestly, is because he does not have a storm shelter. He does not have a safe room in his home because the innermost portion of his house that would be the closest to being the safest has four doorways. One that goes into the bathroom that has a window, one that goes into a bedroom that has a window, one that goes into another bedroom that has a window, and then there's a big ass gaping hole that there is no doorway in that goes into the living room that has a bunch of, and dining room that has a bunch of windows. Even if he shut the three doors, in other words, he'd still have one opening that he cannot secure, especially since he is in a wheelchair. He cannot lift up a mattress and put it up against that doorway to help protect himself. It is not his fault. I have given him every bit of information I can give him as to how to protect himself to the best of his ability. He chooses not to listen. I have told him that he really does need to get a door put into that doorway so that he can shut it, even if it is a pocket door, to halfway protect him in that hallway. I can give you every bit of knowledge I have, and because of the fact that I still do not consider myself an expert, you will not be an expert just because I gave you every bit of knowledge I have. I try to put things as bluntly as possible, as you can tell by my demeanor in this video and by the way I'm saying certain things. Yes, I do. I try to put things as bluntly as possible, and the reason why is because it's the only way I know to make people understand the significance of making these mistakes. If you go out and all you're in it for is an adrenaline rush, what is your family going to think when that tornado that you happen to accidentally end up being picked up by takes your vehicle and slams it into the concrete at over 100 miles an hour, and your face is so unrecognizable, your body is so destroyed that your family can't even have an open casket funeral for you? Please, before you go and do things for reasons such as adrenaline rushes, think about other people other than just yourself. Think about your family, think about your friends, because they are the ones that are going to be left to deal with the aftermath of what ends up happening while you're getting your high. For example, down in Texas a few years ago, we had some adrenaline junkies and chasers that were chasing storms down dirt roads and ended up stop sign and T-boning a group of actual storm chasers with over 30 years experience and killed them. Now the group of individuals that was doing it as an adrenaline rush, they came out of it with a bunch of scrapes and bruises, did not end up dead, and they left a family, well, 3 families, without individuals in their family because they didn't think about anybody but themselves and their adrenaline rush. Here in Oklahoma, we had 3 chasers that happened to be very educated meteorologists, highly recommended storm spotters and chasers that if they called a emergency manager and the National Weather Service or even the news station, all they'd have to do is say their name and inform them of what was going on, and that news station would put out a tornado warning right then and there on their ward and their ward alone because they were that good, that educated, and had that much of a background because they had for many years chased for the National Weather Service and for the Weather Channel. But those 3 individuals are no longer with us because of a freak accident. Over 30 years experience, each of them, a father, a son, and an extra chaser that had the same amount of experience, the same education, all of it. And they're no longer with us because of a freak accident. They were the closest thing to be considered as experts in the field, and even they ended up dead in a storm. But we have individuals that on a regular basis are going out and videoing before, during, and after storms as if they are experts, even if they are not. On multiple occasions, I have tried to get them to not do what they do, but they do not listen. Hopefully this video helps to protect somebody by informing them of what could happen if they do it without the proper background to do it. I really hope it does, because that's what I'm in this field for, is to protect people, not to harm. It's not to cause harm in any way. It is to inform and protect. Please, before you go out there and do something that could get yourself injured or killed, think about the people that you leave behind. Before you go out there and possibly injure or kill somebody else because you have a lack of knowledge, think about those people that those people are leaving behind. Please. if you are going to do it, be as careful as possible. Do not speed. Do not get too close, so on and so forth. I will try to do some updated videos as I can, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Be safe and have a nice day.